The courtroom fell silent, a palpable tension hanging in the air, as the focus shifted to a figure known only as Victim Number 4. Her testimony had already sent shockwaves through the legal world, painting a grim picture of profound psychological suffering and unspeakable violations at the hands of Sean Diddy Combs. But as the cross-examination began, a chilling question emerged. Could the very public life of a supposed victim tell a starkly different story than their wrenching claims? Of trauma, the defense was about to pull back a curtain, revealing a narrative so conflicting it would leave observers stunned and questioning everything. This woman, who recounted being forced into a locked room, put through repeated unthinkable violations, described a terror that defined her existence. She detailed how simply seeing Diddy call her number could make her throw her phone in panic, how he allegedly made her do things that were truly unthinkable, and how his conduct was the worst thing that ever happened to her. Yet, the defense was prepared to argue that her own actions and words, documented over years, presented a bewildering counter-narrative, suggesting a relationship far more intricate and troubling than a simple victim-abuser dynamic. But that wasn't the whole story. Suddenly, the defense attorney, Brian Steele, produced a bombshell, a social media post from 2013, years after the alleged abuse began. It was her personal account, a public declaration that read, "This is what we do when you're not around. I am Diddy Shurock, right?" She had even tagged him. The words hung in the air, a bewildering contradiction to her testimony of terror. And what happened next would shock everyone. The defense pressed harder, unearthing more intimate portrayals, and public displays of affection that clashed violently with her claims of abuse. Photos emerged showing her with Cassie, sharing moments, even casual banter. They pointed to a conversation where she remarked that Diddy reportedly got her coffee from the Forbes list, a seemingly benign detail, yet one that, when put against her sworn testimony of subjugation, painted a picture of baffling normalcy. Was this a genuine affection, or a carefully crafted facade? The more they looked, the more unsettling the questions became. The contradictions grew, reaching a jarring peak with specific instances of conflicting public and private accounts. She testified to being forced to take substances against her will at Burning Man, a harrowing claim. Yet, a social media post from that very event showed her smiling with Diddy, a picture of camaraderie rather than coercion. Then came the disturbing birthday posts, celebrating his day, even a video depicting him as a doctor delivering her baby, a surreal and disturbing visual given her allegations. She admitted doing 2 shots with him, acknowledging alcohol overcame her, though she denied saying there were substances in it. The defense hammered home these stark inconsistencies, implying a selective memory or an outright fabrication, leaving a chilling question mark over the victim's narrative. But the inconsistencies didn't end there. The most disturbing paradox of all lay in her own words, publicly praising the man she now accused of deep trauma. She referred to Diddy as her extended family for life, her mentor and brother. She shared posts expressing pride in him, even featuring him shirtless, asserting, "You're effing funny, I love you." She made a collage of photos, carefully choosing thumbnails that highlighted their shared moments, even writing, "Who let me have my hair like that?" She recounted being proud of Mr. Sean Combs and posting the great times. The defense argued that these expressions of admiration and familial affection stood in profound dissonance with her claims of being traumatized and ruined. Was this a twisted form of Stockholm Syndrome, or a calculated performance for public consumption? The truth, if ever revealed, was far more intricate than simple villainy. This, though, was just the beginning of the revelations. Then came the chilling tale of the South Africa crisis, a period where Diddy's alleged control took a terrifying turn. She detailed the South Africa trip, Cassie discovering Diddy's alleged infidelity with someone named Gina. What followed was a terrifying cascade of threats directed at Mia. Diddy, from Miami, allegedly threatened to off her, to fire her, demanding she return immediately. He hinted at revealing details about her essay to Cassie if she didn't comply. A chilling form of blackmail crafted to weaponize her deepest trauma against her. Mia recounted feeling desperate, terrified, and really sad. Suffering from anxiety attacks and night fears directly linked to Puff. He allegedly bombarded her with messages like, "If you don't call me in 2 minutes, I'm going to tell everything. You're fired," and even FABC, referring to a show based on her life as an assistant that had garnered buzz but never aired. He was still threatening to take that away from her, asserting an absolute power not just over her job, but over her personal narrative and dreams. This was not simply about employment. It was about total subjugation. But the alleged torment had a precedent, a chilling echo from years prior. The most terrifying evidence of Diddy's alleged iron grip on Mia's life emerged from a horrifying incident in St. Bart's during New Year's 2010-2011. On a yacht chartered by Diddy, she was asked to count money in a safe. When she was too slow, Diddy allegedly erupted in a fit of rage, chasing her out and yelling, "You better learn how to walk on water like Jesus. B-word, get the F out of here." She attempted to flee, asking the crew to take her to land, but was told it was impossible due to a hurricane or something. She hid on the 3rd floor, seeking refuge, until Kim Porter, Diddy's former partner, tried to console her. Mia recounted seeing Diddy approach again, forcing her to hide in the crew cabin. Even after being taken to land on a tender boat, she was intercepted by a call from Diddy, forcing her return. Her passport was on the yacht, held by Diddy's staff, truly trapping her. In the car to the airport, she overheard Diddy telling his chief of staff to suspend her, making up a story about her behavior. She tried to explain, but he allegedly yelled, "Shut the F up." This terrifying account painted a vivid picture of a young woman allegedly held captive, put through his volatile moods, and facing a life entirely without escape. Perhaps the most perplexing and heartbreaking piece of evidence was the very carefully made scrapbook she created for Diddy. A clear sign of his career from 1991 to the present. It came with a deeply personal and almost reverent note, signed with love. She also made him a birthday video, asking for contributions from others. This painstaking tribute seemed to go against her courtroom claims of abuse. Still, Mia gave a chilling explanation, stating she was under deep psychological abuse, caught in a cycle of up and downs. She claimed she didn't think people wrote bad stuff about their life on Instagram back then, and that promoting him was her job. She confessed to being terrified of him, believing he would make sure she never got another job if she left. Her actions then were not born of affection, but of a desperate survival mechanism, a chilling display of the power of a twisted and controlling environment where boundaries blurred, and perceived loyalty became a shield against further torment. This was not a choice, but a trap. Her escape from Combs Companies in 2017 brought a brief glimmer of freedom, but not peace. She recounted the abrupt end of Revolt Films, a company she believed was profitable, and her emotional collapse that followed. "I had snot coming out of my nose for a while," she tearfully admitted, consumed by worry and self-blame, convinced she had done something wrong. The long road to a settlement followed, a painful process where her attorneys proposed an eye-watering $10 million. Yet when it came to discussing the violent incidents, she only brought up a few of them, feeling horrible and shameful, as if she were breaking the idea of confidentiality and telling secrets. Plainly, she confessed she was prepared to go to my grave with the truth of the essays, a clear sign of the lingering fear and profound conditioning she endured. The $200,000 she received was a fraction of the initial demand, explained away as unpaid bonuses and out-of-pocket expenses, leaving the true cost of her alleged trauma unquantified and unspoken in the public record. But the silence wouldn't last forever. Even after Cassie's lawsuit against Diddy began in November 2023, the alleged attempts at control went on. Mia recounted disturbing contact from Drock, whom she considered a big brother, in late 2023 and early 2024. Drock allegedly called, initially discussing personal matters, then subtly moving to Diddy. He reportedly downplayed Diddy's past behavior as normal fighting and implied everyone agreed, trying to normalize the alleged abuse. He even suggested Mia say something publicly and offered to send her a gift, which she took as a bribe. Diddy himself allegedly texted her in February 2024, asking her to call and stating, "I need my memory jogged." Mia, seeing it as a front, chose not to respond, throwing her phone in fear and running out of the room when Diddy called directly. She testified that she suffers from complex PTSD, showing as misinterpreting emails, feeling filled with anxiety at the sound of her name and always triple-guessing herself, all, she stated, caused by Puff. The chilling story of victim number 4 is a stark, agonizing reminder of the intricate nature of trauma, psychological abuse, and the difficult path of victim testimony under the harsh glare of public scrutiny. Her public life, filled with seemingly affectionate posts and professional dedication, collided violently with the hidden world of alleged fear, coercion, and degradation she recounted in court. Was her social media presence a forced facade, a desperate coping mechanism to survive an inescapable cycle of abuse, or was it something even more profoundly unsettling, a clear sign of the insidious power of manipulation, where even deeply traumatic experiences could be obscured by a forced veneer of normalcy and loyalty? Her harrowing account, marked by alleged attempts at intimidation even after the fact, leaves a lasting question mark over the nature of truth in high-stakes legal battles, especially when the lines between victim and accomplice appear tragically blurred by fear, loyalty, and the haunting, lasting scars of trauma. The fight for truth in this case proved to be as intricate and painful as the alleged abuse itself.